A day of rage and mass demonstrations. The explosion at Al-Ahli hospital triggered large-scale protest. What was the turning point in the conflict in the Middle East? Let's look at the political elements and put them in their place. This is the Mendeleva's table. Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Palestine, Lebanon, Turkey, Tunisia, the United States, Germany. The missile attack on the hospital in the Gaza Strip acted as a catalyst for a tsunami of mass demonstration. Accelerating to the point of lawlessness, the whole world was on the verge of clashes.
Hezbollah declared October 18 a day of rage. Hundreds of people took to the streets of Tehran in support of Palestine, holding signs reading "Death to America" and "Down with the USA." While some mourned the victims of the attack with burning candles, others burned American flags with hatred and pain.
I ask Muslims around the world to wake up and become witnesses to the cruelty.
The attack on the hospital in the Gaza Strip was also condemned by the people of Iraq. Spontaneous demonstrations broke out in Baghdad. Later, a kamikaze drone attacked a US base in the north of the country. According to local media reports, the armed group Tashkil al-Waratin claimed responsibility for the attack, and it is alleged that the strike was carried out in support of the actions of Hamas.
The residents of Jordan also decided to express their protest after the attack on the hospital. The protesters demanded the opening of the borders with the Gaza Strip. In Amman, activists tried to storm the Israeli embassy.
In Istanbul, activists fired fireworks at the Israeli consulate. Having failed to get into the territory, the demonstrators began to smash the fast food restaurant of the American McDonald's. And in Malatya, protesters attempted to break through to the American base of Kirutik. The wave of protest reached Berlin. Spontaneous actions in support of Palestine took place at the Brandenburg Gate and in other parts of the city.
We are all standing here and showing our support to our brothers and sisters, that we support them as well. We can't count how many children have been killed. We're just watching. We can't even sleep peacefully at home. It's impossible. But in Europe, everything is the same as before. Rallies against cruelty were demonstratively dispersed with the use of violence. The standard set of law enforcement officers of European democracy is batons, water cannons and tear gas. You can recognize the country by the way the protests are dispersed in these shoots. Yesterday, a dozen of demonstrators in defense of the Palestinians were detained in Paris. The protest in the Fifth Republic did not succeed. But in the United States, the storming of the Capitol 2.0 took place. A crowd of protesters broke into the building demanding a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. Hundreds of people have been detained. Against the backdrop of the escalation of the conflict in the Middle East, Washington Square Park in New York has become a place of increased conflict. Activists here divided into two camps. They hold posters with slogans such as "Free Palestine" and "Support Israel." In Philadelphia, USA, a rally in support of Israel was held. It's very hot. It's been a tough week. It was almost impossible to concentrate on work. I talk on the phone with my family in Israel every day. I'm talking to my mom. I talk to my sisters and follow the news. Earlier in Lisbon, about 500 people took part in an action of solidarity with Israel. Demonstrators gathered outside the Federal Chancellery in solidarity with the Jewish community in Vienna as well. Actions in support of both Palestine and Israel are unfolding in various countries. The massacre at Al-Ahli hospital, however, was behind it was clearly a turning point in the conflict in the Middle East. Only where will this turn go when the colors are mixed? Will the terrible tragedy lead to some kind of decline or to a global conflict?